Tonight, we've got the latest on the extreme weather sweeping through much of Georgia. And volunteers from an outreach organization are working to end the stigma around HIV testing.
Always come in and find out, just for the sake of your own peace of mind.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening, I'm Anaya Gibson. The tornado watch is no longer in effect, but severe weather has left its mark in Georgia. Take a look at this video from Jackson County this morning. It shows emergency crews working to clear down trees, power lines, and other debris. This is off of D. Kennedy Road in Houston. It doesn't stop there for Jackson County. Right now, both McCreary and Diamond Hill Church roads are impassable due to flooding. In Oglethorpe County, 6 roads are closed due to flooding. Authorities advise caution when traveling since so much of Northeast Georgia is still under a flash flood watch until 7 tomorrow morning. The threat of severe weather isn't over yet. Let's go live outside to weather reporter Bree Wolf. Bree, how's it coming out there?
As you can see, it's raining, but not as severe as what it once was. These rains are the reason we are still under a flash flood watch. There was a scheduled tornado drill tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. as a part of Georgia's Severe Weather Preparedness Week, but it has been canceled because we're experiencing actual severe weather. The siren started blasting at 9:47 this morning. Today, during Georgia's Severe Weather Preparedness Week, Mother Nature showed us why preparation mattered and will matter for at least the next 24 hours. Athens-Clarke County has issued a flash flood watch until 7 a.m. tomorrow. The watch extends to counties in North Georgia and Central Georgia. A flash flood occurs when there is excessive rain within 6 hours or less, so you could be caught off guard. You can see the Oconee River's water levels begin to rise and speed up. If you live near low-lying areas, rivers, creeks, and streams like this, you might need to pay extra attention. So here's some things to do during a flash flood. Number 1, do not panic, but seek shelter immediately. Find higher ground or the highest level of the building you're in. Monitor local radio, TV, and weather channels to stay informed. If told to evacuate, do so. In 2018, 69% of flood fatalities occurred in motor vehicle. So if you find yourself driving during a flash flood, the Georgia Department of Transportation has some things for you to keep in mind. 6 inches of fast-moving water can knock and carry you away. A foot of water can make a car float. Just 2 feet of water can sweep away most large SUVs, vans, and trucks. So, stay off bridges over fast-moving water. And most importantly, do not drive, walk, or swim through flood water. Remember, turn around, don't drown. The sirens you heard earlier today were the real thing. They warned of an official tornado warning. Remember, that means a tornado has been spotted. Anaya?
There was originally a tornado drill scheduled for tomorrow morning, but due to the weather, that has been canceled. Thanks, Bree. It's not all about business for the future business leaders of America at Jefferson High School. They also focus on serving their community. Grady Newsource reporter Anna Catherine Alderman explains why these bags are important.
Me and my friend, as a freshman, both saw this ad for FBLA and we were having an ice cream social, and we both love ice cream, so we were like, let's go. So we went to that, and they told us all these fun adventures they had been on and all the different places they got to go, and we were like, that's for us.
That's why Shelby Smith and her Future Business Leaders of America group are partnering with Adventure Bags out of Auburn, Georgia.
Their main goal is to hand out bags to kids taken into foster care, so they work with DFACs in different places.
There are more than 13,000 children in foster care in Georgia. According to the Division of Family and Children Services, most of them are under 5 years old. That's why these bags matter.
So items like toothbrush, toothpaste, just like the simple things that we might take for granted, but they could really use. For the kids, teddy bears, blankets, just something to make them feel like they're at home.
The FBLA relies entirely on donations from students and from local businesses for the items included in these bags.
We've got 4 businesses in Jefferson right now collecting within their staff, and we plan to ask more as it keeps growing.
The group also raises money through selling t-shirts and snacks in the Spirit Spot.
So we'd have toothbrush, comb, socks, and deodorant, toothpaste with 1 bag, and put all that in, and zip that one up.
Once the collecting is done, the work continues.
And so are you going for specific types of snacks, or is it just kind of whatever people bring in?
Anything that won't melt in a car, since we're passing them out as we see needed.
Anna Catherine Alderman, Grady Newsource.
The deadline for students to drop off items is tomorrow, February 7th, but local businesses have until next Tuesday. After the break, I'm sorry. Okay. It has heart, it has soul, but it's no lie that the Lion Club's field in Barrow County has seen better days. Now, generations of residents can look forward to their child. You can look at the process. Okay. It has heart, it has soul, but it's no lie the Lion Cubs field in Barrow County has seen better days. Now, generations of residents can look forward to their childhood park getting a facelift. Celeste Springer has more.
For some, home is where you kick your shoes off and relax. For others, it's where you gather with friends and family. For these kids, home is here, at home plate.
That's where I play ball at, where my kids play ball at, and there's kids play ball here since 1960s. So it's a homegrown baseball organization. Is what it is.
Marvin Tarver is the director of the Lions Club ballpark. The club won $10,000 from the Gwinnett Stripers to help fix up the park. That's money Tarver hopes will go a long way to improve this field and the kids who play here.
New siding, new pitcher's mound. Most of our pitcher's mounds have holes in them. We're having to fill them up with stuff just to keep it flat instead of kids falling inside and tripping. New bleachers, they have splinters in them. People are getting poked nonstop with them.
So, the Lions Club field is no SunTrust Stadium, but many players, past and present, say there's something here money can't buy.
Everybody here is just so welcoming. Like, even when you come in, you at least talk to 5 people here every time. So I think there's a good supporting community around the Lions Club.
Brady House is a junior at Winder Barrow High School, and like Tarver, he started his baseball career here as a kid. Now, he's committed to play at the University of Tennessee after he graduates.
Baseball is my life. Baseball, I do it whenever I'm stressed out. I do it whenever I'm having fun. It's just something I go to no matter what. I never get tired of it. And part of that's growing up playing here.
That passion was bred here at the Lions Club ballpark. And that is something you can't put a price on. For Grady Newsource, I'm Celeste Springer.
That $10,000 check was made possible thanks to the Gwinnett Stripers and Champion Roofing LLC. After the break, find out about volunteers in Athens working to raise awareness about HIV testing.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Wait, why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did Cavs go on vacation? New York.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
One property owner calls it the Ritz-Carlton of retirement communities. He was talking about a new luxury retirement community planned for Oconee County. Grady Newsource reporter Mayan Patel has the story.
Oconee County is getting a $115 million residential upgrade.
Yeah, it looked like a viable project.
3 months ago, Active Senior Concepts, or ASC, a development company based in Sewanee, pitched Guy Herring, the Oconee County Director of Planning and Code Enforcement, on a luxury retirement community, a Celebration Village property, the fifth property built by the group, aimed at people 55 and older.
Something we encourage, that 55 and older, that that CCRC lifestyle, that continuing care community, retirement community. We're excited to get those. We think those are good for our community.
According to the 2018 census data, more than a quarter of Oconee County's population fits the demographic. The lot is just less than 62 acres, pinned between Downey Road and Paul Brown Parkway. Last week, Herring recommended to the Board of Commissioners that the land gets rezoned for residential use. I'm here at the edge of the property site where, right now, behind me, 62 acres of soggy tree land. But if all goes according to plan and construction starts soon, in a few years there could be hundreds of units that look like this. Some locals are concerned about the added congestion to an already buzzing area of town. And a traffic study conducted by Calyx engineers and consultants projected that the project would add 1,516 more daily trips in the area. Herring, though, says he doesn't see it as an issue.
This isn't like a typical single-family subdivision, where you may have 10 trips a day associated with each residence, right? Most of these are not going to have a vehicle. The majority are not.
No word yet on when groundbreaking will take place, but it will take some time to get the project completed. The first units should be ready in about 2.5 years. Mayan Patel, Grady Newsource.
The first phase of the project is expected to be completed by November of 2022. If successful, a second phase will be built by November of 2024. During an outreach event at the University of Georgia's LGBT Resource Center today, Live Forward offered free HIV/AIDS testing to anyone in the Athens community. The organization hopes to help eliminate the stigma around the disease and encourages people to know your status. Grady Newsource reporter Mary Calkins has more on the story.
Our main purpose really is reducing the stigma around HIV and AIDS, kind of raising awareness about it more.
That's just one reason why Live Forward offers free HIV and AIDS testing.
The test that we do now is so good. Like, you get the results literally in like 60 seconds. It's like a little finger stick,
CB Snowden showed me just how easy and quick the test is.
It's actually a 1-minute blood test. So we do a little finger prick. It's a lot like a diabetes test. Most people say it doesn't really hurt that bad. I think the anticipation of the click and the needle is what really gets most people. It's very little pain and just a little amount of blood that we take. We run it through this little well. And like I said, it's a minute, and so we have instantaneous results.
Live Forward offers more than just the testing. If someone is HIV positive, they're provided with care and support.
We talk to the health department. We have someone over there come and talk to them. That would be their case manager. And so they offer a very individualized and personalized experience for them to make sure that they know exactly where they're going, what their next step is, and things like that.
If someone is diagnosed with HIV, Chandani Kandon tells me,
So a lot of people live like very long, happy, healthy lives, even if they are living with HIV. Lots of things that we can do to make sure that however you want to live your life, you can live your life.
Chris Richards, the assistant director of Live Forward, says there's a lot about HIV that's changing.
We have advanced the treatment, the research and treatment of HIV. It's so good now that people can get on medication, extremely quickly.
People between the ages of 13 and 64 should get tested at least once, according to the CDC. Chris Richards has a piece of advice for anyone nervous about getting tested.
So really, what I say to people is really, HIV is really a manageable health condition now. It's not a death sentence, far from it. Regardless of whether you get tested or not, if you have HIV, you have HIV. Like, regardless of whether you want to know you have it or not. But if you know you have it, then you can do something about it.
Mary Calkins, Grady Newsource.
If you'd like to get tested, you can make an appointment at Live Forward Monday through Thursday. It's free and only takes a few minutes.
National Signing Day wrapped up yesterday. The University of Georgia secured the #1 recruiting class for the 3rd year in a row.
Okay, so we drowned the fire,
Yep.
stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
And now, sports.
National Signing Day may be over, but that doesn't mean some top local school athletes won't be taking the next step in their football careers. One football player in Oconee County signed today to play college football, and there are likely more to come. The signing continues. University of Georgia head football coach Kirby Smart said it best.
I like to think of the early signing period as 70 to 80% of what you sign, and then this late signing period is more of an adjustment to what maybe you lost.
Oconee County High School senior Ben Nolan signed today, the day after National Signing Day, for his contract to be a preferred walk-on for the University of Middle Tennessee.
Without further ado, I'll be going to the University of Middle Tennessee.
His teammates, classmates, family, and coaches gathered today to watch him sign. Nolan decided to sign today so that he would have clarity on his decision about where to play at college.
He's trying to weigh all his options, but he's got peace and felt good about it last night.
Nolan has had to overcome obstacles during his time playing high school football, but that didn't stop him in making the decision to continue playing in college.
Well, he's had 3 ACL surgeries 3 years in a row. He had 2 on one knee and just had another one at the end of the season this year. So I think it takes a very tough person to do something like that.
His parents, with his dad being the head coach of Oconee County High School football, are very proud to see him following in his 2 brothers' footsteps, who also played college football.
It's always football on our TV. It's always football games, and they just each have a sweet spirit, and they love football. They've cherished the times they've got to have, being with their dad as he is a coach.
High school players will still have the opportunity to sign to a college through May. The UGA women's basketball team plays Missouri at Stegman Coliseum on the University of Georgia campus. The UGA men's basketball team plays the University of Alabama this Saturday at 6 p.m. Also tonight, the UGA Gym Dogs compete against the University of Arkansas, who are ranked number 15 in the nation. Change of plans, the women's softball game against North Alabama scheduled for today was moved to April 1st due to the severe weather in Athens. And mark your calendars because the UGA swimming and diving team will compete in the SEC Championship against Auburn on February 18th. That's it for sports. I'm Amanda Regan, Grady Newsource.
Athens-Clarke County has issued a tornado watch as well as a flash flood watch. I'll give you a little bit of that later to come. I'll also give you a 5-day forecast with a little bit of a glimpse on what's to come on Monday, as well as some tips on what to do during a flash flood.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's a beautiful day out here, sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it, let's go.
The weather.
I'm Bree Wolf with your Grady Newsource weather. Currently in Athens, we're experiencing a flash flood watch, as well as a tornado watch, but I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm also going to give you a 5-day forecast with a little bit of a glimpse on what's to come on Monday, as well as some tips on what to do during a flash flood. Tonight, we should expect a low of 40 degrees. It's going to be cold and it's going to be raining with a 90% chance of precipitation. Thunderstorms possible after 1 a.m. Tomorrow, we're going to see highs in the 40s, which is a little bit lower than what we've been experiencing lately. In Blairsville, it's going to drop down to 39. In Augusta, it's going to raise a little bit up to 52. Our forecast tomorrow is going to be partly sunny with a high of 46. We're going to see 20% chance of rain showers before 8 a.m. For our 5-day forecast, as today I said, we're going to expect some thunderstorms tonight, a little bit of maybe some rain tomorrow. Saturday, we're going to see a high of 52, a low of 34. Sunday is going to be clear. Monday, we're going to have 60% chance of precipitation with a high of 62, a low of 56. I'm Bree Wolf, and that's been your weather.
What would you do if you won $10,000? We'll show you what one local community is doing for their kids with its winnings.
Hello. Hi. I'm from Blue Hood Stone Barns. We brought a meal for you, and I'm here to serve it to you.
Okay, great. Come in.
Zucchini carbonara, made from zucchini that was harvested earlier this morning.
Again?
Hey, Dan Barber.
You have room for a little bit more?
Come on in.
Brochettes with sausage. So when we made that zucchini carbonara, they're the end pieces of the zucchini, and they're the cores that we cut away. Not to mention zucchini flour. Usually those get thrown out. We use them to create an entire second dish. Does that,
Again?
I'm here to bring you your third course. It's the vines from your zucchini.
We'll have a little zucchini stem pasta, a different experience of zucchini. When we start to think differently about our food, we can get a lot more out of it.
This is delicious.
What do you think we can make out of this? 40% of food in America is never eaten. Cook it, store it, share it. Visit SaveTheFood.com.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Laughing too hard at one of your colleagues' jokes at the office party? He's not even funny. Warning sign, those drinks are probably going to your head. Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Let's go back to Bree for a recap of tonight's weather. Bree?
Just some things to update you on and reiterate. Athens-Clarke County is still under a flash flood watch, and that will be until 7 a.m. tomorrow. The flash flood warning that was issued earlier today is now ineffective. The tornado watch is also ineffective, and the tornado drill tomorrow at 9 a.m. has been canceled.
Thanks, Bree. And thank you for tuning in to tonight's show. Remember, the news doesn't stop here for everything Northeast Georgia. Visit GradyNewsource.com. I'm Anai Gibson. Good night.
Production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
This is the Grady Newsource post-show critique. This is the Grady Newsource post-show critique. This is the Grady Newsource post-show critique.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Okay, this is the best show critique. I'm Rachel. I was one of your SVMs today, along with Kate, and this is Josiah, who directed today. I would say that today was like a really smooth show, and I can definitely see how much we're all improving, so that's good. Packages still kind of dropped like a little bit late, early enough that we were able to make the show happen without really many bumps, but still like 20 or 30 minutes past the deadline, so let's just work on that. Other than that, I would say everyone was great. Everyone was down in the studio when we needed them to be. Communication was good. The only thing that I would note is just to the producer, when things need to be changed, especially with regards to the anchor, it's a lot faster if you just talk into their IFB than to tell us, than to tell our floor director, than to have it relay, to relay the message to the anchor, because that just takes a long time if it's a really quick change. Other than that, I think great job this week. Yeah, and then I'll hand it over to Josiah.
Hello. I had a couple of missed punches. That was on me. One thing that would be better during the show is faster communication between producer and the director. There were some times when you would talk to Professor Cantrell or Brittany, and we would find out a few minutes later because we didn't know if it was happening or not. And then, so just better at that. That's it.
Thank you, Josiah. Thank you, Rachel. And tell your crew thank you. They did a really nice job, and I appreciated them coming to me and telling me that we had a light blown, but that we were back there working it out. It looked great, and I thank you. All right, so Mr. Producer, take it away.
All right, well, I mean, I think overall went well. Thank you so much, Bree, for shouldering a lot of the load today. Anaya, sorry about that one snafu there, but I thought you did a really good job of maintaining composure there, and getting it done. I felt like, from what I could see, the packages, like the audio seemed better. I feel like I missed a lot of packages because there was other stuff going on, but I thought overall they were really good, better edited, more engaging packages than we had on Tuesday. Yeah, and then, like he said, I just need to be better at communicating things with the volunteers over there. So yeah, I look forward to next week.
Okay, Ethan.
I was really happy with everybody from a social standpoint. I told y'all to give me just quick cell phone videos, and pretty much every single person did, and they weren't just like half done either. Like, they were really done, really well done, and I'm excited to see the analytics for today, because we were able to get a ton of stuff out on social, especially with the weather. We were super active, and we were able to get a lot of live updates up. Thank you, Bree, for making that happen. But other than that, I think I was pretty pleased. But I will. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I want to be better than Monday, Wednesday. Let's all strive to be better than Monday, Wednesday. Shout out Monday, Wednesday. But for real, I'm a competitive guy. We should use that as motivation to make it happen. But all in all, I thought it was definitely progress from Tuesday. So good job.
Okay, so a couple of things. I'm glad for the hurrahs. I'm just, Dodie Downer here. We lost 2 packages today. That's 3 minutes worth of content. And that's after you learn to really write more concisely. So we're going to talk about those. That happens. We're going to work through why they happened and what we can do in the future to prevent it, if it can be prevented. Sometimes it cannot. Okay? And that's where, as a professional, you learn what your punt position is. You always must do something, okay? But today we just had holes, and those holes had a lot to do with your inexperience. So Gigi and Anaya will be our guinea pigs for that, but just, on any other day, it could be any one of you. I do want to say that Celeste's package today, you guys need to go back and watch it. Celeste's package is a really fine example of what a package should look like. Celeste, a little bit, just a little finer point on some of the audio, but it's minimal. And I sent her back to the drawing board, I don't know, 3 or 4 times to rewrite her lead. And there wasn't anything wrong with her lead, but the package was so good and I knew what she was trying to get to that we went back over and over again. And I think you felt better about that. But the package is really good and you need to watch it. And what's good about it is she has several different sound bites. But she got to the bigger story. You know, Reagan last week, Amanda Reagan, had a story about some firefighters, and she kind of understood about a week before, kind of getting to the heart, she understood that there was this brotherhood story. These stories are hard to get to, and it takes a little bit of experience. So I feel like you learned some things from what Amanda's attempts were, and you were able to build on those in a way that you should all take a look at. Okay, so please do. I also thought that Bree's package was nice. I think you did a nice job with the stand-up. As we move forward, though, I don't want to have to kick y'all out of the newsroom. You know, I want y'all to just go, because there's no news happening in the newsroom. And I know as you learn, you'll grow more confident with that. But I hope you found that to be a good experience, and certainly I think helped for you to write a compelling package. It would have been good for you to have some sound bites in it. And so maybe we'll talk a little bit about, you know, what might you have done? You know, this would have been one of those instances where having something anecdotal wouldn't have been the end of the world. Weather is a unifying element. Sometimes unifies us all in joy and sometimes in fear. One of the things that was really important that we have to get good at, guys, it's a newsroom, and you guys are brought up in the texting generation and, you know, email, which is really makes for some very quiet newsrooms. But if you've got a tornado watch that has been moved from 5 to 8 or has been canceled, you got to get, when you get that information, you have to stand up and go, hey! And you also, you know, you can't just, you know, and hope somebody sees it. And I think sometimes that those of us that use a lot of text tend to use it and email to absolve ourselves of responsibility for follow-up, okay? It was really important for a couple of times today, Bree had some different information than maybe you had and than maybe you had. So it's really important to work together in that, and that can be difficult, but let's just all be aware that it is important, especially people get panicked about weather, and rightly so. Weather can, you know, there's some pretty dangerous weather out there. All righty? So I also think that Mary did a good job having lots and lots of sound bites, and I think we already discussed, could have a little bit more B-roll, but what she did is she had so many sound bites that she was able to just write one sentence here, one sentence there. Sometimes with our more difficult stories on more sensitive issues, you know, B-roll can be a kind of a risky thing, and frankly, the experts, especially in complicated health things that are potentially, you know, that can cost a human life, you know, when you have experts that can share the story succinctly, correctly, succinctly, in a way that engages people, in a way that people understand, you can certainly let them do that. You can't let them just dray on and on and on. But I think Mary did a good job kind of going back and forth and not overwriting the story. I thought that I liked what Anna Catherine tried in terms of the stand-up, sitting there with the young lady. It was different, it was unique. But if you're going to be an active participant in a stand-up, then you got to mic yourself and her. Yeah. And you learned from your commission thing to mic people. So you had folks mic today. Amanda Reagan, on the other hand, did not hear that lesson about your mics. She said, I know that Anna Catherine had the mic issue, so I'm going to try it and see if, you know, if it'll be just as horrific or if my camera mic is better. And you learned what?
I learned not to forget the mics.
Yes. Really good at, did you just forget them?
I forgot, and then I was on the way, and
You were like, eh. So, yeah, there are some tricks, but better not to forget them. So, that's a really great lesson, auditing your equipment. You guys get so excited. I've got my equipment. I'm going to my store. Yay, I've been planning it for 2 weeks. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be everything I dreamed it would be. That will happen never. Just never. So you don't do, always check. It takes you 15 seconds, if that. Mic check, camera, check. Lights, check. By the way, I always take lights. Something Anna Catherine mentioned the other day about I didn't take lights because it was dark. Do you know how beautiful people look when you light them in the daylight? Do you know how much you can get rid of like under chin shadows? And do you know how easy it is to get an interview with someone after they've interviewed with you before and you made them look decent and not horrifying because you didn't light them? Use lights inside offices. Use lights in the daytime. If somebody ever shoots a stand-up with you, make them light you, okay? Because it looks great. It was interesting, you know, they were shooting Bree out in the garage and they said, and came and said, hey, we're sorry, one of the lights went, but we have another one. So lights aren't just for nighttime. They're for making daytime beautiful. But if you'll check those things, that you will be glad you spent that 15 seconds because you had a lot of woe that followed afterwards, right? Okay, so one of the things, just a little thing, when you guys, and this only happened to one of you today, but when you're writing leads to your packages, you are not ghost reporters. Say your name, say your name. Somebody should write that song. Anyway, you know, Anna Catherine, Gigi Kwan, try not to do the has more, you know, because that's a throwaway line. Try to have a unifying line that tells people, come to the table, we've got something good for you. A line that gives a little bit of detail that says, and this is why it matters to you. And then the last line saying, here's this cool person who's going to tell you about it, and you can trust her, and she's credible, he's credible, and this is that extra bit of detail they'll have for you, okay? So try not to default to we have more. So want to talk just really quickly what some of you might do differently. Bree, let's start with you. What did you learn today? What might you do differently? I thought you did a nice job with the listing. I liked how you went back and forth
I think
the river.
I'd definitely have some sound bites to just vary that up. I think I'd get more B-roll, other than just the like rivers and the creeks that I had, and I had a thought and I just.
You did a nice job, right? You know, you came to me the first time for proofing, and I said, hey, didn't you go shoot video at the river, blah, blah, blah? Is it a good video? And you went, yeah, it's good. I said, why don't you go right to that? And then you did, and you did a really nice job. And you did that the other day, Tuesday. You know, if I just reminded you, right to your video, you have a talent for that. So don't forget it. Okay. I'm not going to tell you that again because you got that, and you're good at it. I want to tell you other stuff. Speaking of other stuff, your shots on the river, you laid it on your timeline, so they were timing down your package, and you had like 10 extra seconds of video.
That was my fault. I was going to ask about this. I'm so sorry. So she asked me to check her audio. I noticed her stand-up ended, and it would just cut. I was always taught to add padding.
Yeah.
And that the people in production, I don't know how it works here,
Yes.
the people in production so that they have plenty of time
Yes.
to switch over. And I watched it over here, and it just kept going and
going.
and
Go,
going.
why are they playing the pad?
So I wanted to ask, are they on an auto thing that just automatically switches over?
So
Because that was my fault. That was not Bree.
Okay.
I thought I was helping her
that's
out.
good to know. So listen, there's no fault because the way that gear works in television stations and the way the standards and practice are, that's the absolute. Always lay a bunch of pad. Give me 30 seconds of pad. And that's just in case, you know, the anchor doesn't know what to say or the live shot's not set up. Just, you know, you might do your iFeed anchor. Keep talking over the pad. You know, we're rolling some pads to go, you know, we can't get to the other element. There are reasons. And, yeah, that's generally what you do. In this case, they time down for that and they get out of it. And we needed to communicate to get out of it because when they see that time and that timeline, they're letting it go the whole time. And I started yelling, get out of it, that's just pad. But I wasn't sure what you were doing because I hadn't seen that in a long time.
Okay.
Okay?
So moving forward, do not add pad like that?
No, you don't need it on packages and with VOs. We just tell people, you know, you lay the video, and then if you have a SOT, they'll get out of the video. You can leave some pad there, and then you lay the SOT. And if it's straight video, they can punch out of it, and they usually know. And that's why it's so important on the script to put VO and then put anchor, because that's when they'll punch out of it when they hear those words. They look on the prompter, and it says anchor. That tells them when to punch out of it. Okay. All righty. You mentioned something about video, Bree. Did you shoot like wide, medium, tights?
Yeah.
Okay. So it seemed like then maybe you might have had enough video. I thought your video looked good, and I liked your siren video too. So yeah, I thought it was good. I didn't see you edit as many tights in there, which is why I asked the question. All right, Amanda, we heard from you. We can certainly hear from you again. Is there, what did you learn?
Don't forget your mics.
I know, I just hate to beat that dead horse. Don't forget your mics. Was there anything else that might have made that story? I liked that you had that idea. I've never seen a signing day story about like signing day the day after. And I frankly didn't know. I think you told some people some things that they didn't know. I thought it was like signing day, too bad, so sad you didn't make the cut. But it isn't that at all. And I thought you did a good job telling us that. But is there anything that you think perhaps you could have done a little bit differently?
It would have been nice to have some more interviews. It was hard to get because a lot of the kids were like in and out and running around, and it was like lunchtime, and so I didn't really get to get like any of his friends to speak on it.
What were they doing?
They were just kind of like living and just going out.
Did they just walk by you, mow you down, slap you around? I mean, you could, excuse me.
I should have been probably a little more aggressive with asking people to get interviews.
If you want your story, you got to want your story. Nobody's going to want it as much as you do. You're journalists, you know. You've got to go after the story. I mean, there's never any reason to be impolite. Okay, maybe some, no. But you have to ask. Nobody can read your mind, and you can't be timid in this position, okay? You really can't be. You're doing, especially in your case, you know, your charge is to inform the public with the truth, with accurate information, where people can make decisions about their lives. And some of those decisions are really small. Some of those decisions are really big. Some of those decisions are life-threatening, and some are life-saving. But you've got to believe in what you're doing, or you don't have the courage to go after it. In this case, I thought this was a marvelous story. So believe that the story is good enough to be worth going, hey, may I speak with you a minute about your teammate? Okay? Mm-hmm. And the worst that'll happen is, yeah, a lot of people aren't going to love you, and they'll be rude, and they'll be crude. They won't, you know, they're not going to hurt you. And you...
They were high schoolers, they're scared.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness they weren't toddlers. That would have really been terrifying. Bite you at the ankles. All righty. Mary, what about you? What did you like about what you did today? I thought one thing was terrific is that you were able to turn on a dime. You were having drama with the story because of the usual suspects. And you did what great reporters do. Hey, I'm not getting this. They won't talk to me, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to turn and do this. And then you called and let us know that. You didn't call up and go, I don't know what to do. So I thought that was awesome. Anyway.
Yeah, I think today the story, as they usually do, the story decided where it wanted to go. And I'm really glad that I was able to change angles on the story. And it was also really helpful that the women that I were interviewing with, they were telling me, they kind of gave me a lead for the story. So that was good. I really regret not getting more B-roll. I repeated some of the same B-roll. It wasn't good B-roll, but a thing about it was doing a topic like that, as we discussed, I can't be showing a bunch of people's faces or people's signatures or something like that. And so, you know, the people were really nice in talking to me, but they said, be sure you don't get faces, be sure you don't get signatures. So I was kind of trying to play within what was allowed. But going forward for other stories, I'll definitely shoot much better B-roll, more variety, and less like boring signs.
So let's think about that. If you know you don't have a lot of B-roll, this is where I'm going to go back to Celeste's stand-up the other day. She had this crummy audio, but her story was memorable because that cool stand-up she did, right? Because she demonstrated something, did it in a really creative way. So think about that. When we know we're going to have issue, when you're talking about AIDS, HIV, or anything with health, you're talking about private information, and we're not going to put everybody's business out in the streets. So that's when you think about, is there some information that I really need to say, and I'm not going to have B-roll? How might I communicate this in a really creative way? And sometimes it takes, you know, going to Chick-fil-A and saying, I'm going to eat 6 nuggets and think this one over, even if I think I don't have time.
So after we wrote my script and we would see where there was voiceover, would that be an opportunity to say, like, because sometimes with my stand-up, I might repeat information I already have, so then it gets cut. So would that be a good opportunity to see where your stand-up is going to be is once you write your script and
Yes.
say? Okay.
Yeah, and think about things like data points, because data points offer really good opportunity to do creative stand-ups. I would have been interested, because when AIDS came about in the 80s, I remember what it was like, what people felt about it, and the fear. And might have been interesting to have some CDC data. It's a fairly new phenomenon that people are living with it. At one time, it was a death sentence. So CDC might have been helpful, and you could have maybe looked at how much longer people are living, because that seemed to be a recurring theme, and a reason for people knowing their, whatever that T-shirt said, their status. So yes. All right, Mayan.
Yeah, I had like no B-roll, so I need to do that. Just pay better attention. I am not good at writing the video, so I need to do a lot better at that.
So the what you learn part of this is not how horrible am I.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you learn that you can do better, that makes you have an aha moment? Or this thing about B-roll, what do you feel like you need to learn more? How can we help you?
I think I need to think more long-term, quicker. Like, kind of like you talked about editing in camera the other day, not quite doing that, but on a smaller level thinking of that. Thinking more through what I want to say before I shoot stuff, instead of shooting a bunch of stuff then figuring out what I want to say.
It's really hard to do, guys.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and especially today, I could see the frustration. Gigi and I, I'm like going, why aren't you working? What are you doing sitting around? I didn't say, okay, maybe I did say it like that. What are you doing just sitting around? We have late interviews. Oh, great. So if you are waiting around because you have to, if you don't, how do I have a sense of story when I haven't interviewed people yet? How do I go out and shoot B-roll if I haven't interviewed anybody? I don't even know what the story's about. Dare I say, you may not know once you interview the people. You've got to know enough about the subject and try to talk to your people ahead of time. Really do. Ask people, say, hey, I want to come and talk with you about this. Just basically, here's what I want to go over. Here's what I'm thinking. People would like to talk with you before they're on camera, Now, you don't have to go into some long 20-minute diatribe. I nobody got time for that. But 1 or 2 minutes where you feel more comfortable. And that will help you formulate your story. And help you start thinking about B-roll. And I would also think of impact. What might you and who might you have spoken with today? And I'm going to go to, I call it the Hazinski tree. How to start researching a story. This goes for B-roll too. So we were talking about the Ritz-Carlton for seniors, right? I didn't see, unless you shot video of me, there was not a senior in that story. So that's the impact, right? Mm-hmm. There's also impact on the land, and you did get the gentleman next door. But might it have been good if we had, maybe we could have contacted an AARP. Maybe we could have contacted a local builder and talked about some of this. I also suggested you contacted the chamber. Did anything come of that, or the downtown council? No. Did they just not call you back?
Correct.
Okay. How many times did you call them?
Twice. All
right. Well, that beats the one that Celeste the other day. No. I called them once. They're dead to me. So think about that. That'll help you guys with B-roll. You guys get a little bit hung up on getting the information, and you're novices. That's fine. But if you think about the impact, that'll really help you with your B-roll. Okay? All righty. Anna Catherine.
So I think I had a similar problem because on Tuesday I shot too much irrelevant B-roll, and then today I didn't really shoot enough, and what I did wasn't great.
I thought what you were trying to do with your stand-up was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And I think you
So
should try those things, guys.
I had that
this is
idea
the place to try 'em.
last night, and I was like, oh, that would be really cool. And I was hoping that they would have more packed and that they would be like lined up or something, and we could like pick one up.
What are you,
like,
a choreographer?
This is the here. Yeah. So I was hoping.
Or as we say in the news business, staging. I'm glad you didn't stage it. We don't do that.
But they had already packed, like, this is what a sample looks like, because they were supposed to pack last night, and then it got moved. So they already had one, thankfully, and we were able to go through it. But, again, like, I wasn't mic'd. That was just a technical thing where I didn't know how to put 2 into my camera, so that I can fix. And I mean, the same thing about the B-roll, just like knowing. And I have a problem with writing scripts to video.
Well, for what it's worth, you know, all of you do and you will. And it's sort of like that, what I like to call the Helen Keller moment. Do y'all know who Helen Keller was? Okay, do you know who her teacher, the miracle worker, Annie Sullivan? It was Annie Sullivan? That might not be right. Anyway, her teacher. Do you remember her? Okay. Do you remember how you know, we all know how well educated and how brilliant Helen Keller was, but you know, until she was, you know, I don't know, a young kid, she was just horrific because she lived in a dark world. She couldn't see, she couldn't hear, she couldn't speak, right? Pretty awful. And then she had this teacher. I do think it's Annie Sullivan. Somebody source that for me really quickly. And then Annie Sullivan put the water, you know, pump the water in her hand. Who knows the story?
I do.
Okay, all right, tell it to us, Celeste.
I just remember that
With a microphone.
Okay, so I guess it's Ann Sullivan.
Is it? Okay. I call her Annie. She's my friend. No, I didn't know her.
She taught her some way to communicate using the feeling of the water.
Yes.
I can't remember.
Put water pump in her hand, and then she signed water in the palm of her hand. So she made that connection. And they say that when Helen Keller made that connection, that the fluid flowing on the palm of her hand and the letters related to it were the description of that she kept Ann Sullivan up for 48 hours. We're not going to sleep touching. What's this? What's this? What's this? That's what's going to happen to you guys with writing to video. You're going to have your Helen Keller moment. Right now, all of you are going, God, it's really hard. I don't think to do that. I don't think to do that. But you're going to have we're going to do this in the palm of your hand. Video. And you're going to have this moment. You're going to go, oh, my God, why would I ever not write to video? It's so easy. It makes your life easier. Write to the video that you have, not to the video you wish you had, because that's just an exercise in futility. If only I had blah, blah. If only. All right? So you will have your Helen Keller moment, I promise you. I would like for y'all to have another moment, and that is a moment of, if I make suggestions so that your stories are more relevant and you don't want to follow them, it's cool, because they are just suggestions. But they're not born of trying to trick you or, you know, goof off. They really are designed to assist. So a couple of you, I had some conversations on Tuesday, things that might have made your stories more relevant. If there's an issue with them, come back and talk to me. You're getting better. We've got time for that. But don't let your story not be relevant because, hey, Cantrell suggested I do this, and I tried, and it didn't work out. Don't give up. Say, hey, Cantrell, I tried that. You're such a loser. I can't believe you made me do that. Don't say that part. But, okay, you can. But talk about, hey, this didn't work. Here, I'll ask you, tell me what happened. My follow-up question will be what? What do you think you should do now? And then we'll brainstorm some things. Okay? All right. So, Anaya, let's talk about your story, and then Gigi will talk about yours.
Yes, let's discuss. First of all, sorry, producer, for the late change and killing the story.
He's a producer. He'll survive it. It helped him learn.
Yeah. So, a couple things. The reason why my story died was, I think it was lack of preparation, stress, anxiety. Also, trying to have all my eggs in one basket when it came to one interview and that flopping. Not really knowing where to start the story. Like Professor Cantrell said, trying to choreograph is not how you're going to do it. And trying to have your story ahead of time, like how it's going to go, what's going to happen.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh. Okay. So I turn it.
Do you need to close us down? All right. That is the end of our post-show critique, or it